If you've made it this far, we'd like to welcome you back.
Amen.
Because this has been if you've made it this far, you've come a long haul so far. Right?
If you've made it this far, you're with us till the end.
I don't know if you want people to commit to that. That's a stout.
I don't know if anybody would actually admit to it, at least.
Well, you know what?
That's good.
Speaking of people admitting to listening, there was a fella, a friend of ours, a friend of our ministry. This weekend, I saw him, and he was like so excited. He's been listening in his car while he's driving here and there, or whatever. And he's so excited about it. So when he was getting ready to leave the other day, I said, "Hey, I hope to see you soon." He says, "I'll hear you soon." And I was like, "Oh, mercy!" The poor guy has nothing else to do in his life. But yeah, he was super excited about it.
That's funny.
Yeah, so we have a following. There's one.
There's one.
Yeah, one. Yeah, so we're really going.
I don't know if anybody else is enjoying it.
I am,
but we are.
Well, we are. Yeah, we are.
We're enjoying it.
We are.
It's fun.
We are.
So,
I'm trying to think if there's any other small things I could tell us about that I can't think of at the moment. You know. Oh, you know what? We could talk about real quick since seems like several of us are doing the Monopoly at McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's true.
It's really confusing because I do like old school.
Yeah.
When we used to have the little paper Monopoly and we taped the little tags on there, those were so much better. And then you'd win your free ice cream cone. You could take the little tag back and just give it to them. Yeah, this whole on the app and all that, it's so confusing. It's like whatever.
I agree. But I will say that if anybody goes to McDonald's but they really don't care about playing the Monopoly game,
send your
feel free to
tickets.
send us your tickets. Yeah.
It was funny. I was walking into McDonald's just the other day, and the drive-thru is right there. So there's this larger built man, let's say, driving out of the drive-thru, and he's not even driving as much as he's trying to get his little ticket peeled off of his Big Mac box or whatever it was. And I'm like, how about you just drive for right now and wait to see if you want another Big Mac later before you kill somebody? But yeah, it's all the rage right now. It really is. I've won an apple pie, and
I've won a small McCafe, whatever.
Well, that's not bad.
I haven't used it, but yeah.
And just this morning I won an ice cream cone.
That's fitting.
That's fitting. So maybe on the way home, I pick up a free ice cream.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, treat myself after a long day's work.
And I mean, the odds of us winning any of those things, like how much McDonald's do you actually have to eat to win one of those big prizes?
Do they ever print the winning little ticket?
That's my question.
So we have another staff member, one of our interns. He's like all about it.
Yeah.
So he's trying to steal. I mean, I hate to say we have thieves here, but he's like eyeballing my little tickets here and there.
Yeah.
And so I've told him I will take him out and beat him if he steals one of my little tickets. But he's won a lot, which really upsets me. I'm like,
how much McDonald's is he eating?
On those little free plays?
Yeah.
Like on the app, they just give you like a free one. Mm-hmm. He keeps winning on them. And then I win nothing.
I never have won on that.
So the other day, he's like I said, he's eyeballing my little tickets. So I already scanned my little ticket, and I put it down in the kitchen downstairs. I taped it to the counter from the bottom. So if he tried to steal it, it's taped there, whatever. But he didn't try to steal it. Anyhow, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But the old days were way more fun, I think, because too, it like told you on that old ticket what you won right then. Right now, you have to scan it, and then it tells you.
Find out what you get.
It's like.
Yeah,
whatever. Anyhow, so if anybody wins like the big, the million or whatever the big grand prize is, they can feel free to.
Is the grand prize, is that the Winnebago? Because that's Park Place and Boardwalk.
I like to say Winnebagel. I don't know why, but yeah, Winnebago.
I wouldn't mind a Winnebago.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind winning a bagel sandwich. But yeah, or a Winnebago on wheels, whichever.
So two things for anybody who's listening. One, if you are going to McDonald's but not playing the Monopoly game, bring us your tickets.
Yes,
we're more than happy to play for you.
Yes.
Two, if you are playing and you happen to win the Polaris option, because you can get like a UTV, the Spider, or a motorcycle.
Yes.
Consider donating the UTV to Bancroft Bible Camp.
Sure, and it would be tax deductible.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So
whatever market rate would be.
It cost you nothing.
Yep.
It cost you a Big Mac.
Yep.
Okay, you won this thing. And now you have this enormous tax write-off.
Mm-hmm. You are welcome.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you had a free ice cream cone ticket, you can bring that too. Yeah.
Now, one thing, if you eat too much McDonald's, one thing that you're going to have, because you eat a lot of McDonald's.
Careful. Just breakfast mostly.
Just breakfast.
And a few French fries.
But if you eat too much McDonald's, okay, one of the things you're going to have to do is exercise. At least you ought to.
I mean, you could.
Unless you want to die quick.
You could.
You know,
You could. Well, that's why I get out and I walk in. I go in. I don't do the drive-through. So I feel like I'm,
well, there you go.
Exercising a little.
It's all about balance.
Yeah, and going in, and then you're standing there waiting 2 hours for you to get your food. So I mean, yeah, I think it's a little bit of exercise there.
Yeah, about 17 steps total.
Well, I park in the closest parking spot.
So 12 steps.
Maybe, yeah.
Round trip.
Right, round trip. Yeah, but that's exercise. So
better than nothing.
I've worked off
your apple pie.
As I eat my apple pie, so I've worked off like one French fry
and drink your
single
Dr.
French fry, right? Dr. Pepper. But today it's water. I've gone to water for this afternoon.
Look at you.
Yeah, healthy.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah,
turning a page.
So exercise. We're going to talk about a little exercising today.
We are going to talk about some exercise.
I don't know that much about it
at all.
Well, I mean, I know.
Like when you were younger, and obviously, like I've seen pictures.
I was in a little better shape.
Well, I mean, you're shapely now.
Right, but it's the wrong shape.
More, as one of our commenters put, curvaceous.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How about that?
Exactly.
That's a big word.
So, I mean, you are shapely.
Yes, but just the wrong one.
True.
But at my age, come on.
Who cares?
Yeah, at this point. Okay.
So, in your younger days, because like I said, I've seen pictures when, you were a strapping young man.
Right. That's when my wife met me.
Oh, well, there you go. Now she's stuck with you.
Right.
So, did you exercise?
Those pictures, no, that was not from exercising.
That's just your natural build.
That was my natural build, my God-given build. Right. No, that was
so what's the build you have now?
Well, it's God-given, but JT altered.
There you go.
Is that right? No, back in the day, those pictures that you saw when I was in a little better shape, and I probably had maybe some abs you could count and things. I have abs now. It's just one.
You can count them.
Yeah, it's all one. But yeah, that was just from hard work.
Wow.
Basically, really, I never went to the weight room. I never exercised. I never did anything. I'm being honest.
That's like the farm strength. Then
that was like farm strength, right?
Yeah,
it really was.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
So even growing up,
never.
High school, you never went to the gym. Never. I've always had to work for my
physique.
Which
now I should be
working for it anymore.
I've noticed a little, but I don't want to say anything.
Thank you.
But it's okay.
You're noticing the love handles.
Well, winter's coming.
This is why I wear black.
Because it's slender.
Yeah, it's more concealing.
Slimming. Yes.
It's more concealing.
My mom, I had, I think it was this good black Carhartt shirt on. Mm-hmm. I had it on a week or so ago, and she's like, "Have you lost weight?" I'm like, "No, it's a black shirt." It doesn't. Somehow they just make you look a little thinner.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why pretty much
all your shirts are black now. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're all black. Just to consider.
Yeah, interesting.
But Bryce and I, we do Taekwondo. There's an aspect of exercise in Taekwondo, but it's not the same as being intentional and being consistent in doing it. But anyway, so we did Taekwondo yesterday, and in my class, which is the last class of the day, our instructor is like half the age of all of us in there.
Right.
And so sometimes he feels as though he needs to put us through the ringer on various things. So last night we were in class. It was basically leg day, squats, and you're having to do all this sort of stuff. I got home last night.
You could barely walk.
Yeah, my legs were jelly. It was bad.
Grape or strawberry?
None of the good ones. I'll tell you that. But it's one of those when you try to take a step and you're like, ooh,
yeah. How about that?
Because you don't know what's going to happen.
That's because you're out of shape. Because I think if you're in better shape, you wouldn't feel that way.
Oh, I'm definitely.
Yeah, I'm disappointed a little. I really am.
I am too, in myself.
Well, I'm disappointed in yourself too. Yes. Yeah, but that's funny. I love the fact that the instructor, which I think I know your instructor. I think I've met him before, right?
Yep.
I love the fact that he takes it out on you all because you're older.
Yeah, I think
I really like that.
There's a demented heart in him.
I love it. I love that heart. Is there a area where spectators could come? Because I'd be. I would just bring my Dr. Pepper and bag of French fries and just sit and watch.
You are more than welcome
and watch.
But just know that if you do it too many times, I'm getting your rear end out.
No, I won't do it. Only one time.
Because I want to be able.
Do I have to wear a toga uniform or what is that thing called? A onesie or something? It's
actually called a gi.
A gi?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. In fact, there's a camper that we have, and she's also one of our counselors. She attends your place too.
Yep.
And I think she said she's whooped your rear a few times.
She can punch.
Yeah, I like it. Well, I've given her $20 on the side to tell her the next time just go right for the head. Yeah. Okay. So anyhow.
Yeah. So when I was younger,
we got way off.
Yeah,
it was fun.
But when I was younger, I did work out a whole lot more.
Right.
And so. I'm sure you've heard the phrase "no pain, no gain."
Yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it only applies to people who are like lifting weights. Like I think anybody who's doing any type of physical activity,
Right.
there's that mantra, no pain, no gain.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I think anytime when you're exercising specifically, we'll just talk about that for a minute. Anytime you're exercising specifically, that mantra comes in, no pain, no gain. It's the idea that, okay, as you're exercising, like it's going to be painful.
Mm-hmm.
And not painful from the standpoint of I just dislocated my shoulder, but like your muscles are
Maybe a little
working.
burning around the edges.
A little burning?
Yeah, a little or a lot.
Sometimes a lot of burning. Yeah.
Right.
And so like you've got the pain while you're exercising, but then you've got the pain the day after and the 2 days. Because the second day, in my opinion, is always the worst.
Right.
Like that's the day when you're like,
really
I literally can't walk up the steps.
I'm thinking like when I'm just putting on my shoes in the morning, it's like no pain, no gain. Like I have to have pain to get my shoes on. Like I got to get my shoes on so I can get out the door.
Fair.
So it's like, yeah.
Or
and then the rest, even getting out of bed. And then the rest of the day you're like,
yes,
just simple things. But yeah, that makes sense.
But like when you're exercising and that kind of stuff, the pain actually is an important thing.
It is.
Because again, no pain, no gain. If you're not having some of that pain, the burning sensations as you're kind of tearing down the muscle and kind of separating those things out, you're actually not building, or you're not putting them in a position to build back up.
Right.
And that's kind of the idea, I guess, like when you're lifting weights, is you're tearing down, at least to some degree, your muscle fibers, and then as they kind of rest and recover, they build back stronger and more resilient.
Yeah.
So then you can lift more weight, heavier weight, more times.
Right. It makes me think like, so somebody that's lifting weights and trying to get stronger, if they just, when they're lifting weights, if they just stopped every time, like, oh, that kind of started to hurt a little. I mean, I'm done for today.
Yeah.
They wouldn't get.
You're not getting anywhere
fast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to like get that pain, get through that, and keep working on it. And
yeah, like you have to.
This sounds like fun.
Like you have to go through that in order to make progress.
Let me hurt myself so I can feel better later.
Again, just clarification.
Yeah.
Not injury.
Not injury, but let me cause myself pain.
Yeah.
So that I can be stronger and better later.
Exactly.
This sounds great.
Kind of like last night again, going home.
Yeah.
My legs were jelly.
I love that.
Okay, well that means I worked them out.
Were you able to get up the steps to get in the house, or did your wife have to come up and give you like a,
We had to install like one of those wheelchair
ramps
that go up, just so I can go tell my children good night.
That's funny.
But I don't know. I was thinking about just life in general, and that mantra, no pain, no gain, I think applies really to life as well. With honestly a lot of the stuff that we go through, because I don't know if your life is anything like mine, but life is hard.
It is?
Surprisingly enough. Yeah.
No,
life is hard, and we're faced on a regular basis with various degrees of trials.
Yes.
Right? And difficulties and circumstances that we have to face. And so there's an aspect to where that mantra, no pain, no gain, applies even just to our daily life. And even more so, I would argue, to our spiritual life.
Sure.
And which, between either this episode and this is actually going to be part 1 of No Pain, No Gain, just because there's so much that we can talk about when we talk about trials. We're going to split it into 2. That way our audience doesn't have to sit through a 3-hour episode.
Can you imagine?
And that way I don't have to edit a 3-hour episode.
This is true too. So at the end of this is going to be like ... or to be continued ...
Exactly.
Yeah.
To be continued.
That's so awesome.
With suspenseful music at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real dramatic.
If I can remember to do that in the editing process. Yeah. So I think that mantra, no pain, no gain, can apply it to our life as well.
Yeah.
And so this episode and part 2 of this episode, we're all going to be talking about just trials. The storms in life that we all face. And I think it's important too, I think that we start off with the understanding that everybody faces trials.
Sure.
Because honestly, everyone can relate to this idea of trials because we all face them. There was a phrase, I guess, I don't know if it's very popular now, and I'm afraid that if I'm saying that it's popular and it's really not, it's going to show that I'm really out of touch with reality.
So don't just say the phrase, because we'd hate to lose followers over something like this. Not that we have many.
I mean, the struggle is real.
Yes, and if that makes us lose followers, the struggle is even more real.
That is true.
And I like how you, in our notes there, it says it was popular in the 2000s. Did you really look this up?
I did.
That's kind of weird. Yeah. Okay.
Because I wanted to see if it was actually
like,
still
correct.
relevant.
Yeah, right. We want to be
You
correct.
know? And I think there's some aspects to it. I think, one is that it is real.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a facade. It's not something that people just kind of imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Like life is hard.
Yeah.
Trials do come. And it's talked, the other aspect of that is it's a struggle.
Right.
There's a difficulty to it. These things are happening all the time. And it's one of those things to where that we understand the fact that that phrase, the struggle is real, is legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just something that, you could post somewhere, hashtag the struggle is real, but there's a legitimacy to it and I think the reason why it became popular was because of the fact that it's relatable.
Sure.
Like the purpose of that whole little phrase was somebody identifying or acknowledging the fact that what you're saying is legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
That they can relate to that in some way, shape, or form.
Right. Right. So when you're in a struggle in your life, whatever it may be, and maybe I've dealing with that same struggle or I've dealt with that same struggle, that's when that phrase is like, yeah, the struggle's real, bro.
Yeah.
Because I've been there, or I'm there with you right now. Yeah. This struggle is real.
Yeah.
It's so encouraging.
Yeah. That
the struggle is real. And it's encouraging, especially when you're in a community or in your group or your friend, that they share that with you. Don't always keep those things in. Share your struggle with someone else because they may be struggling with that, and in turn that becomes an encouragement too.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the Taekwondo group.
Yeah, right. You're all in there, kind of struggling together, right?
Yeah, we're all struggling together
for whatever that goal is.
We're all having
triple black diamond belt. Is that what you're working on?
Triple black.
Is that even?
Is that like the skiing? Yeah.
Oh no,
swimming?
You want the Karate Kid trophy.
The Karate
That's what
Kid.
it's going to be.
That's exactly what it is.
And it's going to be presented by that guy. I don't remember. A long time ago. But you're all in there kind of struggling together for kind of like a common goal in a sense, because we're all trying to get to the next level or whatever it is.
Yep.
And that little phrase is pretty real.
Yeah.
In your class, the struggle is real because we're all in here struggling.
Yeah, when we're struggling, when you see like the pain on people's faces, as we're having to do all these squats for forever,
and then we're struggling to get out and get to our car, and try to get home.
And me and the other guy, my partner last night, apparently it took us the longest to do certain exercises, and we just kind of joked like it's because we did them right.
Yes, of course,
of
right.
course,
not because of
not
out
because
of
we're
shape
just slow
or
and
just,
fat.
Yeah.
But it was funny. We looked at each other and we're like, why are we sweating so much?
Well, I could tell you why. Same reason I sweat a lot.
Yeah.
But I think also too, for that, the struggle is real. Once you've struggled there for a little while, especially at Taekwondo, I think you just go buy McDonald's on the way home.
Treat yourself.
That's the other thing with these struggles. You get a little treat every now and then.
You know what? Yeah. You deserve.
It's like I tell my wife. I tell her all the time, I'm celebrating. And she says, well, what are you celebrating now?
Yeah.
You're always celebrating. I said, what's wrong with that? Okay.
Yeah. It's like, what are you celebrating? Survival.
I'm celebrating that I'm still alive. I'm celebrating Jesus, and it's like, okay, come on now. Like, let's get over that.
Yeah.
You're not always celebrating Jesus, but I'm always celebrating. So, and I'm celebrating that the struggle is real.
There you go.
And I'm working through the struggle, and I'm hoping to make it to the other end.
So today you take your McDonald's free ice cream cone. Yes. Struggle is real.
That's right. I'll even tell them that when I get there. Hey, the struggle's real. Give me my free cone.
That's exactly.
And they'll be like, what?
Actually, you know what would be funny is if you did that. They're like,
it really is real. You know how real your struggle is? The ice cream machine is broken.
That would be my
luck.
That would be so your luck. That's so funny.
Anyhow, but it's to me it's like a little cheesy phrase.
Yeah,
the struggle's real, whatever. But it's just true.
True. But do you want to know a even cheesier phrase?
Tell me.
A friend in need is a friend indeed. Did you ever hear that growing up?
Yes.
Where did you primarily hear it?
Church.
That's right. Little side note, little ADD moment. The church as a whole, is it not the worst place for cheesy phrases?
Yeah, because I have another one for you.
What do you got?
So you're passing someone in the hallway at your church, and you're like, hey, Derrick, how are you? And then your response will be, if I was any better, I'd be you.
Oh, gosh.
Wow. Yeah, well, yeah. I have a lot of bad examples. I'm thinking, my entire family just passed away, but you're doing better than me. Great. But it's just cheesy. Right?
Yeah, what's another good cheesy phrase? Hey, how are you? Blessed and highly favored.
Oh, yes.
Remember that one?
Yes.
That's a
I
classic.
think your wife and I have laughed about that before.
Blessed and highly favored.
Yeah.
You got, especially like when you pray, you've got some good cheesy phrases that go in.
Yes. Yeah.
Hedge of protection. Like when you pray.
Yeah.
Lord, just place a hedge of protection around my brother JT.
I think I prayed that for you when you went on vacation. Lord, that you'd put a hedge of protection around them.
Like,
so
why do we get these little
I don't know
cheesy phrases?
I don't know. And then they stick forever. Really it's like
but the church really is like, if you want cheesy phrases, get into church culture.
You want to know cheesy phrases? I bought this book because I don't buy many books, and this is a little rabbit trail, but I bought this book at Cracker Barrel, and it's the church signs.
Oh yeah,
mercy,
they're so great.
Mercy.
There was one here local.
If it's hot outside, it's hotter in hell. It's air conditioned here, something like that. It's like that would make me come on in.
I saw one at a church here locally recently too.
Don't name the church.
I can't remember the name of the church. Actually, I think I know the name of the church.
Careful.
But I drove by it and it said, "What's your blood type?" Ours is KJV positive.
Oh boy!
And I thought,
oh boy!
No, you gotta be kidding me.
That's awesome. Blood drive Sunday after church. The Bloodmobile will be here. Yeah. Anyhow,
so funny.
I
love those things. All right, so that was a
rabbit trail, but it was so worth it. A friend in need is a friend indeed. You and I, well, you more than me, have moved several times. I mean, you moved from this area down to South Florida, and that's where. Is there a tissue? I'm going to get emotional. That's where I met you.
Yep.
And I'll never forget the first day I saw you, but that's that'll probably be a whole nother episode. Anyhow.
That's scary to think about.
You ever seen Shaggy? Anybody ever seen Shaggy on Scooby-Doo? That was this guy. He looked like Shaggy, little more of a buffy, tough guy, Shaggy. But anyhow, so you moved down there.
Yeah.
And then we moved you from one place to another place.
As an office building.
An office building.
Yep.
Right. And then from there we moved you to your other home. And then from there we packed you up to move you back to here.
Yep.
I was like, get out of the way. I know how to pack all your stuff. I know everything fits in the moving truck. Right. So that is a friend in need.
Yeah.
Or a friend indeed when the friend is in need.
That's
Anybody who comes to help you move, you know who your true friends are.
That's true.
Because most of the people don't show up and you're like, yeah, you're not my friend anymore. And then it came time for me to move from South Florida here.
Yep.
And you certainly were my friend because there was not anybody else that came to help, really.
And I came all the way from here.
From here to bring me all the way back. Yeah.
And the amount of stuff.
It was a lot.
God bless America.
Yeah, it still is a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was a lot.
I think I told you, just torch it.
Yeah, burn it all.
Buy new when you come up here.
We should have. Probably been cheaper and easier. But seriously, so that cheesy phrase, but in situations like that, even in moving, and there's so many other things in life that, your friend shows up when you're in need. And I do remember, it's been almost 9 years now. We had several family members of ours, my wife and I, passed away in a short amount of time. And I know that you were there for me, for my family. Right there.
You're getting sappy.
I am. I think I'm like trying to hold this together, but you were. You know what I'm saying? And that's a true friend. That hey, man, you're. I remember specifically that we were working together. Actually, remember?
Yep.
And I had to go because I had to get down to the hospital. And I remember you just said, "I'll take care of it."
Yep.
But it's those times that's when you need a real friend because you have a true need, right?
I tell you what, like with that particular situation, I think there's a couple things that come to my mind.
I'm trying to gather myself back together.
That's why I figured I was just start talking.
Thank you.
That way you can
get a drink.
Suck it up. There are a couple things that come to my mind though, with that particular situation. One, like I was working at a church, and then I left that church, which maybe we'll get into that story.
That's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother episode. But actually, we might touch on it in part two.
Yeah.
But I resigned from that church, and you were gracious enough to give me a job.
Yeah. Measly that it was, but it was a job.
True. But I needed it.
Right.
But I remember, like, my wife would always tell me, because, and I'll be honest, there were times when I was working with you during those times, like, I would just get depressed and discouraged because I'm like, this is not.
Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah, like, this is not what I'm supposed to be, but this is where God has me right now. And my wife would always remind me, like, God put you there for a reason. You know, he put you there, whatever that reason is.
I know what it was.
And come to find out,
Yes.
you know, that's when, you know, you went through all that stuff, different stuff with your family. And my wife would remind me during those times, she goes, like, that's why God put you there.
That's the truth.
You know,
and that's great to look back at that with that thought that, hey, and that was a struggling time. That was I have on my notes, the struggle bus.
Yeah.
You know, that time in your life was a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, you've resigned from a job that was feeding your family and what you went to school to do and things like that. And, you know, it was a trying time amongst all the other emotional and stuff that went along with all of that.
Right.
But the Lord had you go through that so that you could help me go through what I went through. Right. And which is like, Lord, why do I have to go through this? Hindsight, why did I have to go through what I went through to help this guy? But, you know, and I think at times we helped each other
absolutely
through that.
Yes. That's what I was getting ready to say. Like, I think again in that particular situation, there was a mutual encouragement.
Yes.
That we both needed, because to a degree you were walking through some of those similar things that I was walking through as well.
Yes.
Because the church where I left was where you had grown up.
Yes. That's the only church I ever knew.
It's the only church you ever knew.
Right.
And so there was a mutual encouragement that was there, that again, God in his sovereignty and in his providence orchestrated to kind of bring that stuff together. And again, I think part 2, we're going to break some of that stuff down when we look at how do we endure trial. You know,
and part 2, let's have tissues. Sorry.
it's going to be a tearjerker. Now, the other aspect to that situation that makes me think of the struggle is real was those moments and those days where you had to leave early to handle things. And I was stuck driving your truck with the trailer, and I had to back the trailer back.
The struggle real?
The struggle was real. Because for the life of me,
you're not a good trailer backer?
Not that trailer.
Yeah.
I could not back it into
the barn?
The barn.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was the struggle was real for me on that
That's
one.
great. Well, while you were struggling with driving a truck and trailer and backing it in, I specifically remember I was on the way to the hospital, and I was struggling on what am I supposed to do when I arrive there?
Right.
What am I supposed to say? How am I supposed to? And so I was on the phone with another one of my good friends, and he was coaching me through. Yeah. You know, like I was like, I don't know what to do when I get there.
Right.
You know, and I mean, I can go ahead and say it was when my mother-in-law was in bad shape, and so I'm like, my wife was there and my kids were there, and I'm going to hold this all together when I'm telling you this. But man, I was like, if ever the struggle was real. And I had a long it was like an hour to get down to there, and I'm like, this struggle is real, because you're going into a tough situation. What do you do? What do I say? How do I, you know? And the Lord was just took care of it, because you know, it was a tough couple of days there with that.
And even the person that you were talking to, I'm sure in some varying degree that individual had walked through something similar.
Yes.
You know, and so they were able to speak into that, which kind of goes back to, you know, what we were saying earlier about how trials are relatable, you know, because everybody has walked through some aspects of trials, right? Like there's not a trial that somebody's going to go through that not a soul who has ever lived.
Wow, that's a surprise.
Yeah.
Huh?
They're like, wow, you know, we can't speak to this because we don't have any idea how.
Right.
Like, it's not there, which should be encouraging to us, because the fact is, all right, you're not alone in your trial. You know, it's relatable, because there are people who have experienced either the same thing or something extremely similar to that can speak into the situation that you're in. Right. And so it kind of goes back to, I think our last episode, like no man is an island, like that concept. Yeah. Like you're not alone in that trial. You're not alone in that struggle.
There's actually 2 men on the island.
That's true.
Right?
Exactly. There's at least 2.
Right.
You know, because, all right, like, you're not alone. The struggle is real for all people, you know? And so you don't have to walk through those things on your own by yourself, because there's somebody who can relate to it.
And they're probably not far from you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. The question is just whether or not you're going to reach out to them and just say, hey, I'm going through this, you know?
And I think that statement that you just said, I think that's probably another struggle bus that we ride on.
That's true.
Like, I don't really want to tell Derrick I got this struggle going on.
Yeah.
You know, or so-and-so. I don't really want to tell him that, because then, you know, I'm kind of letting my guard down, kind of letting you look into my little life, or my little whatever you want to call that.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, and at times I think we're wrong in that mindset of, oh no, I'm not gonna let anybody in.
I'm the only one who can walk through this.
Right. Right. No, I think let someone in, because again, the Lord has allowed probably somebody pretty close to you that's gone through something like this that can help you back through that.
Yeah, and honestly, and I think we can look at that, and again, kind of goes back to another episode that we did on simple graces.
Yeah.
Remember when we talked about that? Like that's a simple grace that God has given us.
Right.
The fact that there are people who can relate to the situation you're in. It may not be exactly the same, but there's going to be a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
And so God has, in His grace, given us these people around us who can speak into the situations and the struggles that we're going through, so that we don't have to walk through it alone. Those are heavy burdens.
Yeah.
Those are heavy weights that we got to carry, but we don't have to carry them alone. So yeah, so I think when you think about that phrase, a friend in need is a friend indeed, regardless of how cheesy it is, it holds weight, because like somebody who sticks with you when like the going gets tough or when you're at your worst, like those
are real friends.
Those are real friends.
Right. Like when your ceiling collapses and your friend comes over and
Are you learning to
those days. But it can be things like that. It doesn't have to be like this emotional, disastrous family issue. It's like, hey, I had a roof leak and my entire ceiling collapsed in my back room. And by the way, I have to get out of here because I got to get to a meeting I have to be at. Do you think you can come over and clean this up for me? Yeah. And I'm not tooting my horn or your horn, but it's just, it can even be things as simple as that. Or, hey, I have this problem. We can say Jeff, right? Old Jeff. Our old Jeff here. Bancroft Bible Camp. He's been here, 300 years now? He's like as old as Moses, but we love you, Jeff. But he's like our lead chef here. We call him Chefry. But he is so mechanical. And he's just happy to always help. But that's, hey, I'm Jeff. I'm in need. My air conditioner's got an issue or whatever, and Jeffrey's on it.
Well, and it's kind of like that question. All right, when you are stuck on the side of the road with a flat tire, or you got something at your house, who you calling?
Who you calling? Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Like
Jeff.
Can you? He's it.
Jeff is that's all I want to have.
But it's like, all right, can you count on your hand? Who would you call?
Yes.
In these types of situations, and let's just clarify: it doesn't have to be the same person for everything. Jeff is going to be the same person for all.
He's like he's the.
But it's like, okay, so if I've got this situation, who am I calling?
Sure.
Okay, if I'm dealing with this personal struggle, maybe this is the person we call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like you've got these people who it's like, okay, like I know that when I'm in a pinch or when I'm in this situation or in the middle of the night and I got this issue going on, I can call this person.
Right. Yep.
And not only can I call that person, but they'll answer.
Hopefully.
But then they'll respond.
Right. Yep. That's great.
And I think
that's great.
So when we think about like a friend in need is a friend indeed, and the people who really show their true loyalty and their true friendship to you is when times are tough, right? It makes me wonder, like there's a bond that is made, I think, in trial, right? That when you struggle with the same thing or something similar, and you've got that relatable connection, in that trial, there's a bond that is formed. Because, and I'm sure that you can probably speak to this, and I'm sure that people who listen, they can probably speak to it as well. There's probably people who pop up in their minds of, what, I was walking through this, and I reached out to this person, and we were able to walk through it together, and now we're like the best of friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it creates this bond. Like I think of my brother, who is he's a firefighter, and we've had these conversations before, and so he's a firefighter, but he also loves military stuff as well. And so like I've
noticed he likes guns.
He does like guns and
not
fire.
Like bad gun. Well, guns just.
He just likes guns in general. And fire.
Whether they shoot a rubber bullet or a paintball or I noticed that. Exactly. Anyhow, go ahead.
But so like he's a firefighter, and it reminds me of like there's a brotherhood in like the fire departments.
Yes, for real.
But you see it there. You see it in military.
Yes.
There was a great, I guess, movie series, TV series, or something like that called Band of Brothers, which is, it's a military based series. It's absolutely excellent. But even just the title of that, Band of Brothers, they're not brothers by blood.
No, right. They're brothers
through experience.
Yes.
And the struggle that they have to go through, right? And so, like, what is it about trials and struggles that creates that bond. There's an aspect to it where it's just a shared experience. Like there's a connection that two people can make because of their shared experiences that they're having. And again, it goes back to the relatability of it all, right? I can relate to it because I'm walking through it as well. I mean, like you and I, again, we've been in various situations, where, and some of those by God's grace, we were together when we walked through those, when we get a phone call about something that happened with somebody that was dear to us, right? Or, whatever it may be, like, or we're out working and we're both dealing with the same issue, because there's a massive slab of concrete underneath,
we're trying to dig a hole.
Exactly. It's like, whatever it is, like there's that shared experience and relatability that's there. And so like you look at people who are like firefighters or in military, like it's really hard for people outside of those areas to speak into those situations because they can't relate to it.
But when they're there on a scene, like a fire department, you're there on a car accident or a medical scene or a fire. I mean, especially a fire, I think, because man, they definitely have to be all one. Because they're trying to obviously take care of the fire, but they're also having to watch and protect each other. It creates a quick bond.
Exactly.
Right. Military the same way. I mean, if we're all on the front lines, we've bonded very quick. Because we're protecting everyone across that line.
Right. And if you think about people who are in that type of work, whether it's military, police, firefighter.
Thank you for adding police. That just came to my mind. I'm like, someone's gonna comment. You didn't say anything about the police.
No, but for sure with them as well.
For real.
But you look at anybody who's in the even like medical field, that kind of stuff. Like you look at those people who are in those professions. With some of them in particular, there's a lot of people who struggle with like PTSD and those things.
Can you imagine?
But it's like I can't relate to you because I'm never been in a situation where bombs are going off around me and bullets are flying by my head, and I can hear it, So like when we go through those times that the struggle is real and all those things, it creates a bond that honestly for a lot of people lasts their entire lifetime.
Right. And those that aren't close to that don't understand it.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's hard for them then to speak into it.
Yeah. So, like a bond, that bond of brotherhood with the fire department. My uncle is a retired battalion chief, and so he has lots of there were so many friends, great friends that he made that were firemen. Still to this day. I mean, there's good friends that came through working. It's so different when you compare those kind of things. Like I say, you don't meet good friends other places. But like, I don't think all the employees at Lowe's have this great brotherhood or sisterhood, excuse me, or whatever. Right. That lasts forever. Right. As these situations, police and fire and medical and the military. Right. Right. It's just something is.
Well, and I think the difference between like a Lowe's brotherhood, sisterhood,
and nothing against people at Lowe's,
but something like that,
Shout out to Lowe's.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the difference between like a Lowe's brotherhood, sisterhood versus a military firefighter is the struggle itself,
right?
And the degree of trial, the degree of pain that they have to walk through.
And if you think about just those four, military and police and fire and what's my other one I'm missing here? Oh, and medical. All of those are almost, or most of them, most of the time are dealing with saving a life at some point. Right? Down at Lowe's, they're probably not saving too many lives. And I'm not belittling Lowe's still, but anywhere, pick another place, right? Kmart, they're out of business. We can talk about them. But you're not down there. Speaking of Kmart, but anyhow, you worked there when you were a child.
I did.
But they're not down there saving lives either, or have to do with that kind of stuff that I think that just draws people even closer.
Sure.
Yeah,
because that struggle.
Like we have a pretty good brotherhood here between us and you and myself and Jeff, and then our interns and and others. But I think it could be just even deeper when you're dealing with the things that these other folks deal with.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because like for us in just camp ministry,
yes,
right, like there's a brotherhood, sisterhood, there's a bond of people who just serve in camp ministry because it's something that we can all relate to,
right?
And so the various struggles that you experience as camp staff and working at camps, like those are relatable, and so you can talk to people next door, or you can talk to people across the country, who basically
Relate
are dealing
to
with
that.
the
Right.
same stuff because they can relate
Right.
to it, right? And so then even to the people at Lowe's, like there are things that the people at Lowe's can bond with, or around
people at
because of stuff
Target.
they go through.
Yeah, retail.
That I can't
Yeah.
speak to.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
And so that's the thing. Like you've got so many different degrees of it, but I believe like the underlying principle is still there.
Sure.
That struggle, mutual struggle,
the common struggle
brings that common struggle brings a bond.
Right.
No
matter where.
It's relatable. Exactly.
No matter where we're at.
And so, I think the Bible speaks to this as well.
Yes.
I mean, you look at Proverbs 17:17. It says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity." It's that idea that, there's a brotherhood that takes place. Yeah, we're not brothers by blood, but we're brothers through mutual experience in life, and adversity, And so, like, you've got, there's a bond that is created in adversity and in trial and in pain.
So you were born to help me with my struggles. That's basically what that's saying, right?
Oh, that's interesting.
You were born. So Derrick Mars was born to help JT with his struggles.
There's so many things I could say to that.
Yeah. You're like, but you're calling your mom now. Thanks.
Okay, but think about this.
There's some. As funny as that is.
Now you've got me going on a rabbit trail.
Now we're in episode 3 of this.
3.
Yeah.
So, but think about this, okay? If we believe that God is sovereign, which we're going to deal with more in part 2, but if we believe that God is sovereign, and we do,
right? We do.
That God has ordered our days, like if you really do take that back, I think there's validity in that.
I
don't think I was specifically born to deal with your junk. All right.
Well, I do. No, as soon as I said that, I thought this is kind of funny, but there's so much truth to that funny.
There's some truth to that, in that, like, God has created me. He's ordered my days. He created you. He's ordered your days, and He's ordered our days to be able to come together and to intersect. I mean, and
we haven't known each other since 2nd grade, right?
Praise God.
What? But right. So we met in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which you probably never thought you would ever live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida back in the day, right? But that's where we met. But then we've been through so many good and tough times together. Yeah. But the Lord had brought us together. I'm not going to get sappy on that, but the Lord brought us together, even from 2 different states, from a long way apart. To shoulder the good times and the tougher times.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
It makes me think of Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, which I have another thought on this verse. It's 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. Yeah. I love the word toil, by the way. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. Right. But woe to him who is alone when he falls. He has not another to lift him up. So immediately I read that verse earlier in preparation for this, and immediately I thought of the yoke, the double yoke. I thought of that, and whether you want to think of an ox or whatever animal you've put in this yoke to pull whatever they're doing. A cat. Oh, mercy. Now we're going to get calls in and write-ins about cats. But whatever animal, cat, that you've chosen to put in this yoke, thank you. You've really thrown me off. That one is helping another. One gets, this is so terrible, but like one gets stuck in the ditch or something, and that other one is helping this one along. It just makes me think of just people, not just animals. That hey, we both have this yoke on as we're going through whatever we're going through. Yep. And we're walking through this together. I don't know if they put 3 ox wide, but but they'll probably join 2 more behind. Yeah, and then as a team, as a community, as a brotherhood, as an oxhood. Bad, but they're working together. Yeah, and it's probably safe to say that when there is a group like that in animals and in people, one is going to lag behind. Usually, it's me lagging behind in the people, but you know what I'm saying. And the others are going to pull a little of that weight for that person. Right. And the same with the animal. Yeah. All of a sudden one ox doesn't get tired and the other one's like, okay, good, let's take a break. Yeah. No, they're going to keep, because they're trained to trudge along through the field or whatever they're doing.
And think about with that same concept too, typically they would put an experienced ox,
Right.
with a rookie, I guess.
So
right?
Jeff the experienced.
And then me.
Yeah, and I'm still in the barn.
You're still in the barn.
Yeah, you're right though. The experienced, right.
Right. And so
And for what reason?
well, for training and learning, those kind of things.
Yeah.
But and so taking that same concept, it makes me think that for that younger horse or ox or cattle, whatever it might be,
Donkey.
whatever it is, that experienced one is leading that one,
Mm-hmm.
and teaching it what to do and how to go about it. And so there's going to be moments and times and seasons where that experienced one is probably, carrying a little bit more of the weight there at times. But then there's going to come a point where maybe that experienced one gets older as the other one is growing, and so that might actually shift at some point,
Right.
And I think it kind of speaks to that whole concept as well. There's going to be times when, like you're going to have to carry the weight, a little bit more than somebody else, but then there's going to be times where
it's shifted around the other way,
right? And again, it just goes back to that whole concept, that two are better than one. Like we need each other. Right.
Right.
God has graciously designed it to where we can walk through these things together. Struggles are relatable, right? Because we've all gone through them. A brother is born for adversity, and I love that too because when you go and you kind of study that verse, there's the aspect of a brother's uniquely equipped to handle or to walk with you in life storms, and I like that the uniquely equipped, like that's special.
Yes.
It's not just anybody, right?
Right.
It's not just some random person on the street who's going to walk with me through this. It's like, no, this person is uniquely equipped to be able to walk with you through life's storm.
It makes me, I'm thinking as you're speaking that, so when we're in a storm in life and we're looking to, like, let's say, put somebody else in the yoke with us, look for someone who that maybe has been through that kind of a struggle, and link up with them in your yoke too. So that way, like you just said, you're not just grabbing anybody,
right?
You're grabbing someone that's been through that, and if so now you're in there together.
In a previous episode, we talked about the importance of community. That was the whole no man is an island, right? The importance of community. Like God has designed us for relationship. He's designed us for community. You are surrounded with people who can relate to the things that you're going through, that you connect with in various ways, whatever it might be. It's important that as you're going through life, when you're not in a trial or in a storm, that you are part of a community so that when you do go through something, you already know who's around you that you can talk to. That, as you're saying, that then you can reach out to and say, like, I know this person's walked through something before. Let me go talk to them.
And if you're not going through something at the moment, it's important to be part of that community so that someone else that's going through it can grab you.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Because again,
it's a full circle.
Exactly. Because again, with a brother is born for adversity, two or three, helping one another, that kind of thing. We're all uniquely equipped to help in various ways. I may not be able to relate to the specific issue of this that you're going through, but this aspect of it, I can speak to that.
Sure. You can just be there
for
the person. I think. Little personal note here. I remember the specific day that the Lord put us together because we were working together. And I remember the day that I got the phone call that my dad passed away in the hospital. Right. Well, you were right there. I don't think you could relate to that because your dad didn't, your dad's still alive.
Yep.
But I remember you being there that day. And
and I may not be able to relate to that, but I can relate to, but I was there.
Right.
And to a degree, I could relate to the work side of that.
Yes.
Of understanding that burden that you need to do. So you go handle that. Let me handle this.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's super important that when we understand that we live in community with each other, right? Because the fact is that it's like when we're living in community with each other, to a degree, that's preparation for when we walk through trial.
Right.
Because the fact is trials are inevitable.
Unfortunately.
They're going to come,
Yeah.
And they're unavoidable. You can't miss them. You can't like hide from it. Like, oh, it passed me by.
Yeah, dodge that one.
Dodge the bullet that time. But the Bible speaks to that as well. James chapter 1, right? Which I'm sure everybody probably knows. But James chapter 1 verses 2-4 says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. The one of the things that's always has stood out to me about that passage is the beginning. Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials.
Not if.
It's not if.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a.
Right.
It's not an if statement. If you meet trials of various kinds, count it joy. It's like, no, when you do, because it's going to happen. They're inevitable. If we know that it's inevitable, we're going to experience trials, then we need to make sure that we're living in community on a regular basis, so that when those trials come, there's support around us.
There's so many trials that, well, you couldn't have made it through without someone there with you.
Yeah, having somebody there.
And not to say that your spouse or a family member, but sometimes it's so much more help and so much more support to have a neutral.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Good. I'm not discounting your spouse or even like your brother. I mean, your brother's well, he's crazy, but he's a good man.
Fair.
But a neutral, somebody that's not part of the family.
Yeah.
Is sometimes that's enormous.
And again, it goes back to the body of Christ and walking in a community,
Mm-hmm.
because you're right. I think there's some serious value to obviously having somebody that you can relate to walking through this specific situation, but at the same time, there's going to be moments when you need somebody who is not connected, whether emotionally or whatever it is, who can look at it objectively.
Yes.
Who can then say, okay, here's what you need to deal with, and here's what you need to work on in order to walk through this. Like, I know, like, when I used to be a pastor, like, we dealt with this at times, like when there were deaths in the family, right? Because there were moments when, especially in the moment, the emotions are all over the place, right? And so you have to be objective to come in and either one, say, you don't need to make any decisions, you don't need to sign anything, because your head's not in it,
right?
And your heart's not in it. You're not thinking straight because you're just dealing with all the emotion of this,
right?
And then there's times where you have to sit there because they're thinking through not only all the emotion aspect of it, but all like family and this and this and this, and you can go in and be objective and just say, all right, well, let's just kind of break this down. Let's make sure that this is taken care of first,
right?
And you can kind of look at it with, you're not even looking at the situation with fresh eyes necessarily, just objective ones, But again, that's the value of community.
You almost become the voice of reason in situations like that. Because especially in the death of a family member, or things that are crazy like that, you're not thinking about a whole lot of things, or you're not thinking in your right mind. And again, like you said, as a pastor, you're just reaching out to your pastor. What a great resource that could be at those times. A neutral. He's probably been through that before with other families, so he does have a little experience, unfortunately, in that.
Right.
But man, great wisdom could come along with that.
Oh yeah, I agree. Okay, trials are inevitable. They're going to come. You just better be able to endure them when they do.
But being a Floridian, there's these things called hurricanes.
Yeah.
And they
my grandmother used to call them hurricanes.
Hurricanes?
Yeah.
Well, she was an Appalachian. They're called hurricanes.
She was a transplant to South Carolina. There it is.
But yeah, so those things, they come and they go, but they wear you out a lot of times before they get there because of the media coverage and things like that. And there's times you have a week long to prepare.
Yeah.
And then there's times you have, well, not even a day to prepare, because all of a sudden this thing has made a hard left turn as you thought it was going to miss you, and all of a sudden it's coming right for you.
Yeah.
So you got this storm is on the way, right? And you might be able to prepare, and you may not be able to prepare. Right. Like in life, you might see the storm coming, and you're like, okay, I can get at least somewhat prepared for this. Yep. Or all of a sudden it's a big surprise, like maybe a death in your family, or something like that, sudden death. And then there's those times when you're in the middle of the storm, and I'll never forget, as a spouse and a parent in these hurricane times, I'm like, I just want to flee. I want to get my little chickens and my wife, not really my chickens, my children, but chickens and my wife, load them up, and we're gonna flee out. We're getting out of here.
Yeah.
And so we used to live in a mobile home, so that's already like hey, you got to get out.
Right.
So I remember the one time big storm was coming, and my wife, bless her heart, had convinced me to go down to her aunt's house. Love her. Big home, sturdy block-built home, hurricane shutters, plenty of snacks, good lady, right? And so she convinced me to go down there, and I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I'll do it. Well, of course, these hurricanes also, while you're in the middle of this, they're categorized, one, two, three, up to 5, and that's their wind speeds. So it's going to come in and it's going to torment you at a category 2, but all of a sudden, this thing turned into a 4.
Yeah,
like
overnight.
Right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like going from 30 miles an hour on Stone Drive to 140 miles an hour, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I remember going through that storm at her aunt's house, and I remember, the gusts come and they go, so it's continuous blowing at 100, but then it's going to gust to 140.
Right.
Well, when that gust of 140 comes, you could hear the barrel tiles just blow off. You hear the barrel tiles leaving off the roof.
Yeah.
And then you're like, it's kind of unsettling.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, we made it. And then sure enough, however those things are spaced out, here comes another one. And so relating that back to that storm, the storm of life, you're like, is this ever going to end?
Right.
Well, it's going to end. And that's sitting through a hurricane. It's like, yes, it's going to end. I'm not sure when. And it feels like it's never going to, but it does.
Right.
Right. So usually you might be with your family and or wherever to weather that storm.
Mm-hmm.
They call it hunkering down.
Hunkering down, that's right.
Hunker down in your safe room. But so then the storm has gone. Right, it's gone. And now you have that cleanup time. Mm-hmm. So it's like even in the storms of life, the storm has gone, but now there's so much I have to deal with. Your family member has passed away. Now I got to deal with all this. And so that's another great time to gather up some of your brothers and sisters to help you deal with that. And the same in a hurricane. The whole neighborhood comes together. Now we're all cleaning up. We're all piling the tree limbs and everything that blew around everywhere, stacking it out by the street, helping each other, make sure everyone's safe. Maybe you had electric or you had a generator, but I didn't, and we're going to be out of power for 3 weeks. So, hey, let me stretch a cord over so you can keep your refrigerator. But it's common. It's a common thing. We've all gone through this as a community. And we're all going to bond together to make it, to move forward.
Yeah. And that's interesting. Like,
sorry, that was a whole long.
No, that's great. And I think there's a couple things with that, if I can remember all of them. The first one would be just the illustration of the storm. Mm-hmm. Because when we talk about trials, I think that's, especially when we go into scripture, like there's a direct correlation between trials and the difficulties of life and the imagery of storms.
Yes.
Right. Like we see that throughout scripture. You got, Jesus, when he's in the boat with the disciples and the storm comes up, and they're freaking out and he's taking a nap,
Great.
And they're like, do you not care that we're going to perish?
Yeah. That's like, my wife, by the way, during a hurricane. She's like, yep, I sleep good.
And you're the one who's like, do you not care that we're going to perish?
I'm like, hi, everybody down. We're going to blow away.
Well, you do that when, we have the threat of hail around here, and you got to dash away from camp in your truck and go find some kind of overhang
covering to park.
So that
scares
you can
me
park
to death.
underneath.
Anyhow,
but you see that in scripture all the time.
There's Jesus. He's just over there taking a nap,
and
the boat is just going in all different directions, right?
And the disciples are sweating. And
goodness,
they're panicking.
Yeah,
with all that different stuff. So like you see that in scripture. You've got one of my favorite parables actually in scriptures, when Jesus is talking about the wise man and the foolish man, who build houses.
Yes. On the sand or the rock.
Exactly. So like you've got this foundation, but then both of those illustrations that he gives, he goes, and then the storm comes, and, we always take that as, storms of life. Like that's how we can apply those things. Like what is your life founded on, so that when the storms of life come, you're able to endure and sustain and survive, those kind of things, so like, I think in scripture, we see that connection on a regular basis. Right. So your illustration kind of made me think of, well, how does the Bible refer to those things? And we see that correlation between the imagery of a storm and just the trials and storms of life. Right. Another thing that it kind of made me think of when you were talking about all that was, you were saying the cleanup afterwards.
Yes.
And what's interesting is anytime there are large natural disaster kind of things that take place, communities come together in a way that they normally don't come together. So like you think of Hurricane Helene.
Yes.
That came through.
Right here.
Yeah. Right here local. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you've got North Carolina, and obviously everybody else who was affected all the way up and down the East Coast and in Florida and everything. But like here in particular in North Carolina and in Tennessee, when Hurricane Helene came through, the devastation that was in this area was
catastrophic.
Absolutely.
Is a good word.
Yeah, catastrophic. But what you saw was the community coming
Yes.
together so much. And it wasn't just here. Like, again, it was
from all over.
Yeah, there were
it
people
just
coming
comes from everywhere.
all over the place.
Yeah.
But then you saw that not only here, but then you see it in all these other regions and any other, catastrophic natural disasters that take place. You see communities come together and bond in such a way that is like remarkable to everybody else.
Right.
But I think, again, it goes back to everything that we've been talking about before, of that mutual struggle that everybody is experiencing, that is relatable and that they can speak to. And it creates a bond. It creates a brotherhood, to where it's like, okay, we can walk through this together.
Yeah. So through that, thinking through the storm recovery time, you may not have known your neighbor, believe it or not, or the man, or the couple 2 or 3 doors down.
Right.
But through this brought you together, and now there's times where that creates a great friendship because of that storm in life.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Because of that storm, now I've built a friendship and a relationship with somebody I never knew.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because we had that common storm.
Exactly. I've always heard it said, and maybe you have too, like, you're either one of 3 places in life. You're either coming out of a storm, you're in the middle of a storm, or you're getting ready to go into a storm. Like those are the 3 phases of life. That is
really encouraging too. To think that. I feel like I'm in a little bit of a storm now, so I kind of feel comfortable.
Sure.
Right, because I'm in one.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about, is there another one coming right now, because I'm still in one. Usually there's not 2 hurt. Well, I shouldn't say that. But yeah, that's yeah. I'm sure a lot of people have heard that before.
Obviously, there's no duration of time in between each of those stages.
Right.
But the fact is, like, you're in one of those 3.
It's life, and it's going to happen.
Exactly. Well, again, it goes back to trials are inevitable.
Yes.
They're going to take place. And so you're either coming out of one, you're either in one right now, or you're getting ready to go into one, and I'm sure that everybody who listens to this is going to find themselves in one of those 3 places. But then I think the last thing that you talked about, with a hurricane or any storm for that matter, like, you're getting prepared for it. You hear about it all the time, or whether it hits you out of nowhere, like a tornado or something like that, right?
Those are fun too.
Yeah. And you don't know, and you don't expect it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, but you go through this trial and you feel as though the trial's never going to end. But just as sure as trials are going to come, the surety of it passing is equally strong. Like, not only is the trial inevitable, but its passing is inevitable as well, right? Yeah. And so, like, there's hope, that you can have when you're in the midst of trial, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Right. And no, it's not a train. You know what I mean?
Sometimes
maybe.
It may feel like it. Yeah.
But there's light at the end of the tunnel. Like, the Bible kind of speaks to this concept, this too shall pass, and it reminds me of 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 16 through 18. And it says, "So we do not lose heart. Though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day. For this light momentary affliction," that's the key word, momentary affliction, "is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient or temporal, like they're passing.
Yeah.
But the things that are unseen are eternal." Like,
that's a verse.
It's a fantastic verse.
Yeah.
And again, I think there's 2 words, I think, at least for me, that really speak about that, is momentary and transient. And to speak to that truth, that trial that you're walking through, that you're going through right now, that seems unbearable, that seems like it's never going to end, is momentary and it's temporal. It is going to pass.
I like the word in front of momentary. Light. Momentary. It's like, that makes me think it's like the Lord saying, this is not as big as you think it is. Yeah. For one. Yeah. It's not that big for one. And I've got it. Right? Yep. Because then go on down with the other word that you said that you love so much. It's
transient, temporal.
Meaning
it's passing away.
Right. As big as that hurricane is, they're hundreds of miles wide at times, right? Well, it's gonna pass.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 4 It says, in your struggle against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your blood. Now, obviously, contextually, that's speaking about, temptation, sin, those kind of things. But in the greater context, starting in verse 3, it says, consider him who endured such hostility from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. In your struggle against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your blood. And one of the applications that we can take from that is just kind of like what you're saying. It's a light momentary affliction. Mm-hmm. You have not yet suffered in such a way to where like you're shedding your blood.
Right.
You know what I mean? So don't grow weary. Don't lose heart, because in the grand scheme of it, even though to you it feels heavy, it feels overwhelming, all those different things, we're taught in Scripture, no, really, that it's a light momentary affliction. Like you can handle it. Like Christ has suffered in a way that you will never suffer.
Right. Yeah, for real.
So take heart. He has endured more than you ever will.
See, I'm afraid now to bring my life's problems to you because you're just going to say it's just a light momentary affliction.
You haven't suffered unto death.
Yes. You're not bleeding. You're going to make it. Yeah. What? That's a great verse.
It is a great verse.
It's a hard verse.
It's a hard verse, and it's hard, I think, for us to believe and accept.
Yes.
Especially when you're in the moment. Like if I'm dealing with a crisis, I really probably don't want somebody to come up and be like, it's a light momentary affliction.
Yeah, because I think I'm going to punch you right in the mouth.
Exactly. It's like, I'll show you light momentary affliction.
Here's your affliction, and I think it'll be light.
Exactly.
Yeah, for real.
But in the grand scheme, when we can sit back, and if we can allow the Holy Spirit to speak into our hearts during those times, we look at it and say, it's a light momentary affliction. It's going to pass. Just, okay, so Lord, give me the strength to persevere. Yeah. Give me the strength to continue to be faithful to this lot in life that you've given me, right?
You wonder if when Christ was hanging on the cross, was he thinking, this is just a light, and I'm being serious when I say that, is this just this momentary affliction that I'm doing? And will this end? And the reason that he was doing it.
So there's a great verse also.
I knew you'd bring up a verse. That's why I said it. No.
There's a great verse in Hebrews 2, I believe.
That's why you're the preacher.
Former
preacher.
Yeah, so there's a verse in Hebrews as well that speaks to that. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2, that says, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. You could argue that, he did look at it and say, this is a light momentary affliction because of the joy that was set before him. Right. He knew what that was going to accomplish. Did it necessarily make it easier? Obviously, no.
No.
Like he still suffered.
Yes.
There was still pain. There was still agony, right? But he was able to endure it because the joy that was set before him, he saw this as transient. He saw the pain, the suffering as temporal, for the earth, for the heavenly, reward or accomplishment,
he knew that storm was going to pass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so he was actually able to do exactly what James chapter 1 says, to count it all joy, because of the joy that was set before him, And so then I think for us then, from an application standpoint, I think we probably make a lot of applications out of this first part of this episode. But I guess just to kind of wrap it up, whatever circumstance and trial that you're going through, first of all, reach out to those around you. Yeah. Don't carry that alone. One, because you're not created to, you're not meant to. There are people around you who have experienced similar things that God has, in His grace, surrounded you with, for you to be able to reach out to help you carry the burden and to help you walk through that, right? Because trials are relatable, right? And they're inevitable. Yeah. But then at the same time, when you look at the trial that you're walking through, take heart. Don't lose heart, because it is a light momentary affliction, and just as sure as it came,
it's going to go.
It's going to leave, and it's going to pass away. And so for the joy that is set before you,
Mm-hmm.
Count it all joy when you meet those trials of various kinds, because it's going to accomplish its purpose at some point. So don't lose heart.
So, hey, this is great. Guess what?
What?
To be continued.
To be continued.